And then I'm doing a Zoom meeting from my laptop and a FaceTime with my audience. Everyone wave. Wave. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna prop you guys up and then we can begin. With days becoming more unpredictable, going to the grocery store or picking up takeout has become a dangerous outing. COVID-19 has caused the world to worry about getting the virus by leaving the safety of their home. Today, I want to persuade you that the United States Congress should pass legislation that will reduce the spread of coronavirus by making Americans wear masks in public. I want you to see the benefits of how wearing a mask can flatten the curve of coronavirus cases as well as deaths. Stopping the spread will allow Americans to get back to work, revive the economy, and save lives if Congress enforces masks. Due to my immune system not being as strong as most, I already wear a mask every time I go outside. Even though my age group is not being affected as much as the older population, I think if everyone wore a mask, it would prevent even asymptomatic people from spreading it. I'll be showing you the problem of the coronavirus spreading rapidly in America and how Congress passing this law to wear masks is the solution. If we ignore this, the coronavirus will continue to wipe out our country for the next year until we find a vaccine. The problem is the coronavirus has spread throughout the world and has put the United States economy on hold. It has harmed many of our citizens. As of April 14th, there are 579,005 cases in America, with around 200,000 centered in New York. According to the news article, U.S. coronavirus deaths set a single-day record as total hits 28,300. April 15th, 2020, Al Jazeera explains that the coronavirus restrictions made to stop the spread of the virus have crippled the economy since places are forced to close. President Donald Trump is hoping to reopen everything May 1st to restart the economy, but his top infectious disease advisor said he was overly optimistic. The University of Florida strongly advised students like me to go back to our hometown since the coronavirus caused all classes to be moved online. I abided by this because I'd rather stop the virus now than it continuing into next year. If everyone did their part in stopping the spread, experts predict things going back to normal sooner than later. Sharon Begley discussed that the consequences if we ignore this respiratory virus, and experts envision two scenarios if the new coronavirus isn't contained, made in February 4th, 2020. She explained that it could become a new seasonal virus like the flu, which would hit us every year. After discussing the problem the coronavirus entails, I now will show you my idea of a solution to stop the spread. The solution I recommend is to have Congress pass legislation enforcing Americans to wear masks. The Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention, CDC, started recommending that everyone wear a cloth mask when they go out in public. And they said that by wearing a mask, it's important because you could spread COVID-19 to others even if you don't feel sick. They recommend still staying 6 feet apart away from people, even with the mask on. The advisory published, the CDC said, we now know from recent studies that a significant portion of individuals with coronavirus lack symptoms, and that even those who eventually develop symptoms can transmit the virus to others before showing these symptoms. Dr. Subhanu Das explained in Why Face Masks Are Crucial Now in the Battle Against COVID-19 that all people should be wearing masks while out in public because masks are a likely reason why the virus has been better controlled in places like China, South Korea, Japan, and other countries. There have been other contagious diseases being studied in labs, such as the seasonal flu, since coronavirus is still new to evidence and scientists. In 2011, an article titled Mask Wearing Respiratory Infection in Healthcare Workers in Beijing, China, did a study to examine the level of mask wearing and respiratory infection in HCWs from 8 hospitals in Beijing, China. The median age was 35 years and about 81% were female, 47.8% doctors, and 52.2% were nurses. Yang declared from the data that wearing a mask made doctors had a lower risk of getting influenza by wearing a mask, but it did cause some breathing issues. The problem some people have with masks is that they're difficult to breathe in, and the only help you can do are with already those affected. If you use cloth face coverings, the layering of the fabric still allows you to breathe, and if you don't have access to them, you can just make your own. Even if you don't feel sick, you can still be a carrier and should wear a mask as a precaution for those around you. After knowing how we can all stop the spread of the coronavirus if we urge Congress to pass this, let's visualize the future of America. Now let's imagine how this virus is going to affect our daily life in the future. If Congress and American citizens ignore my recommendation of wearing a mask, the world in 10 years will have lost a lot of loved ones due to the virus continuing to spread year after year. The economy will remain broken, the unemployment rate will continue to increase, and America will be suffering. Now imagine the future of America if we implemented this solution. The grass is greener, families can gather together, and large groups can go out to dinner, and jobs will be available to the majority. Now, Grandma is sitting at her retirement home, waiting anxiously for the spread of this horrible virus to stop, alone and sad without any family or friends able to visit her. By wearing that mask, she gets to celebrate her 100th birthday with all of her loved ones. It is time to think about everything we learned today. To Congress and the everyday person going to Publix, we all need to wear masks and do our part. You can help stop this pandemic by either helping contact Congress to pass this law or even wearing a mask yourself. We know that the problem the virus is taking on our country, and masks can help be a solution so we can go back to normal life. I missed out on half of my sophomore year in college due to this coronavirus, and I have not been able to see my grandparents in a few weeks. Please do your part in flattening the curve. I want to be able to shake hands with a professional, hug my grandmother, and sit in a lecture hall again. Let's not forget about watching the Florida Gators football team too. Thank you. And now it's time for Q&A. You guys can unmute yourselves. Okay, does anyone have a question? CJ?
What should I use if I don't own a real mask?
Well, I've seen a lot of people make their own masks out of either fabrics with sewing materials, or even you can do a bandana, or you can wear a hoodie just over your face. There's a lot of options for that.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Suzanne?
I have a little bit of trouble breathing through the mask. Any other additional comments for that?
Well, I think that your best option would be to probably put your shirt over your face and act it as a mask, or you can just try to get a really thin cotton fabric, because I think you'd be able to breathe better through those than a thick bandana.
Okay, thank you.
Doug, question?
How do you think Congress will enact enforcement of wearing masks in public?
Well, my idea was that since like in Orlando, Florida, we have a curfew, and if you break it, you get fined. It's made a lot of people stay home after the curfew. So I think if they did a fine for all the people out in public without wearing a mask, then obviously everyone would want to wear a mask to save that money. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Thank you.